Welcome back, everybody. So today we're going to try a new one from Oddside Ales, Cinnamon and Vanilla Rye Hipster Brunch Stout. Now this is a variant that they put out in 2020. They just had a release that you had to go on the website, order it, and then go to the pub and pick it up. For this and three other variants, it was $24. This is an Imperial Stout aged in rye whiskey barrels with coffee, bacon, cinnamon, and vanilla. Now, I was just talking to Kyle at No Hype about this, or about cinnamon. Like, you can overdo it with cinnamon. I saved this one to last just because I wasn't sure if this was going to be overdone, underdone, and if it was overdone, it would wreck my palate. I have done the other three. So this is the last one. Then I'll have a side-by-side of all of them, seeing what's different, maybe if we can smell something that's the same in all of them. But this is 12.7% ABV. So let's go ahead and get this open and get it in a glass. This one was manufactured on 11/16. So I believe if they did it each by the, the variant, and didn't switch back and forth. Again, I don't know the grain bill. I don't know if most of the stuff is the same and then just a couple adjuncts change, or how they do this. But this would be the youngest one out of the group. Yeah, I hope the vanilla's there. I hope that cinnamon isn't overpowering. In all these, or the other three, the bacon and the coffee haven't really came through. Now, obviously, with an Imperial Stout, the grain bill is going to be bigger. You might add a little bit more roasted malt. So that coffee, chocolate, you should get it. Mocha light chocolate colored head, small and medium bubbles. On this one, more medium bubbles than anything. A finger of head in there. Color, dark amber in color, just like the rest of them. I would say that's not black, because the can beside it, the can is darker, but good color. It's in a barrel. It's got adjuncts in there. So they could have started off darker, and that barrel could have taken some away. It's going to thin out the beer. Could lighten it up a little bit too. Let's go ahead and smell. Cinnamon. I almost want to say like a cinnamon oak whiskey. Cinnamon oak whiskey, cinnamon wood whiskey. I would say, if anything, this one has more alcohol that comes out. I don't know if it's just that whiskey thing, but I would say it's probably correct, as I'm not getting a ton of cinnamon. They could have done it right, at least from the smell. Other stuff's coming through, so maybe they went light on the cinnamon. I really don't get any vanilla, so that whiskey alcohol oakiness would come out more if it's not overpowered by another adjunct. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I get that cinnamon, whiskey, oak, alcohol is what's in there. Let's go ahead and taste. A good cinnamon up front, goes back a rye, oaky, almost burnt roast. That vanilla is pretty much through the whole entire taste, though. I think we'll really be able to pull that out in the side-by-side. But this one, there's definitely a different taste than the other three have had. And it does taste like vanilla. It's like that cinnamon goes from the start, the beginning of the palate to the middle. That whiskey, rye, oak kicks in until the end. That cinnamon comes back and goes down. But you also get that roasted malt in the aftertaste, a lighter roasted malt, coffee, chocolate in there. In the middle to the back of the palate, though, it is like a roasted, burnt, almost burnt. I wouldn't say burnt because it's not like acidic. Maybe a charcoal from the barrel, burning the barrel, maybe something like that. But it tastes more almost burnt malt than anything. Very, very smooth. This is a hard one because I'm trying to think, would I rate this one the same as the chocolate version? Because I think they have two different things. I think the cinnamon in this is fine, but it might have a little too much char. Char slash almost burnt malt coming out. And I could see that cinnamon and vanilla not overpowering that. So that would stick out a little bit more, where maybe a smoked malt might overpower that char. Yeah, at first this one tastes very, very sweet up front. But then middle of the palate, when that almost charred slash roasted malt comes in, it kind of kicks it off. I almost want to say it like bitterness, but I don't think it is. I think it's the char from the barrel or very dark roasted malt that's doing it. So it's giving it off. It's giving off some bitterness. I don't think any of these show what the IBUs are. No. So yeah, it has to be from the malts. This one leaves more of a kind of an alcohol burn in my throat. But I could see if the right amount of cinnamon vanilla was used, that alcohol would probably come through a little bit more. Hmm. I'm going to go with a 4.25. I think this, well, I'll talk about it in the side-by-side video. I think this one and the chocolate are at the same level, but for different reasons. I think this one, it needs something to cut down that char. And I'm not sure how you would do that, because you wouldn't want to add more cinnamon, because then it might be way overpowered. Then it would take that vanilla away. I don't know how I would do that. Maybe back down on the roasted malts and put more maple syrup in to drive the ABV up even more. And that might compensate for the lack of roasted malts. I haven't made enough of them to know, what you could do to get that char out of there. Usually, you wouldn't use bitter dark malts. But yeah, I would say 4.25 out of 5. I like the cinnamon level. I like the vanilla. It's just that char roasted malt needs to be toned down a little bit. Let's check Untappd real quick. None of my friends have had it. 6 people have checked it in. No score. What's wrong with this? Yep, cinnamon more prevalent than the vanilla. I would say that, but I think you're going to get that. To get that vanilla to stick out more, you're going to have to use like almost no cinnamon, in my opinion. And yeah, not too much cinnamon, but chocolate. Yep, yep, same with me. I don't know. This person rated it a 5, and the scores show as nothing. Maybe there have to be so many people before they score it. But yeah, definitely, if you're into beers like this, if you like Rye Hipster Brunch or Hipster Brunch, definitely pick these up if you're into those. If you can just get like the chocolate or the cinnamon and vanilla, that's what I would stick with. But that's for another video. If you enjoyed this video, check some more out over here. And until next time, happy brewing.